Welcome back to the channel, and in this video I'm going to be trying to recreate this folding wing drone VTOL concept called the PteroDynamics X-P4 Transwing. So let's take a look at what it is and how it works first, and then I'll try to replicating it and making it work in Trailmakers. Alright, so here it is in VTOL mode. You can see that the wings are folded up. It's basically like a quadcopter the way it functions here. But as you can see, once it gets up into the air, the wings then fold out, causing the quadcopter rotors to become like forward-facing propellers on the wings themselves. So looking at it, if I pause here, it looks like we are going to have some roll ailerons built into the wings. Now, normally in VTOL mode, I'm assuming this probably adjusts its pitch and roll using the rotors themselves. I don't know if I'm advanced enough to be able to logic that into the rotors, so I might have to cheat a little bit using some servos in VTOL mode, but it looks like at least in its horizontal flight mode, in this mode, I'll just be able to use normal plane control surfaces, which would be kind of nice. So yeah, this is it. That's the concept. What I think is really cool about this is the way that the wings fold, it actually brings some of the propellers back to the rear, which I think kind of centers its center of lift in VTOL mode, rather than having all of the propellers up at the front like they are in the horizontal flight mode. So I think that's a really, really cool, ingenious design for how to transition your center of lift forces. All right, let's hop over in the Trailmakers, and I'm going to try my best to try to make something that functions somewhat like this. All right, so the interesting thing with this is it is completely unmanned. However, I am going to be manning it. So I guess I'll try to hide my seat. So I'm going to choose the small seat here. So they're not making it easy. They have this very smooth, rounded, curvy shape to this. And I find it very hard to build those kind of shapes in Trailmakers. I like angles and wedges for Trailmakers. Rounded, curved surfaces are not an easy thing to try to replicate. All right, so I'm starting with just the nose here, and I think this looks like a good shape. The hard part is going to be figuring out how to curve it around to the sides though. But they do have these pieces. Yeah, these wedge corners I think are going to be my best bet. And the inverted corners, these ones are not the most intuitive ones to work with for me, but I think I understand the base. Yeah, see, like that. That's where it's supposed to go. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good, but it doesn't actually match up down here. Unless I'm supposed to use the two? No, but see, then this one doesn't match up here. Unless I could just convert these to the 2x2 wedge. Move this in. All right, I think this is actually coming together pretty well. So let's continue on this track and hope it continues to come out pretty well. Okay, so I've tried my best to build the body here. I hope this is going to be a good proportion for these propellers, because, oh, actually, that's actually not too bad. So if we have like 4 of these propellers facing upwards, or 2 on each side. All right, so if I'm in VTOL mode, it looks like the front propeller is kind of a little bit behind the main center part of the head. And then the other one is kind of like a little bit like mid part of the tail, like this. So kind of like this is what we'd be looking at for the propeller distribution. I think the body and the propeller sizes are pretty good proportion to each other. So now I've got to build this folding wing mechanism. And this isn't the simplest folding joint. Not only does it fold in and out, but it also twists as well. So I think it would be easiest to start in the opened wing position. All right, so this is what the wing itself is going to look like, but the folding mechanism is going to be a little bit more complicated. So basically, I need this thing to fold back, and then I also need it to twist so the propellers are facing upwards. So I guess let's just take it one step at a time. All right, this is actually proving to be more complicated than I was expecting, at least when it comes to making it look nice, because the parts we have to do these things are not the easiest to attach elegantly in a small space, especially when I'm doing a couple axes of articulation at the same time. So I think this should work. This is gonna rotate 90 degrees vertical. The wings are gonna essentially tilt up with this. And then this one is going to rotate them 90 degrees down, so they should tilt back beside the craft. So if they both activate at the same time, it should have this cool articulation. All right, so now let's just do a proof of concept of this wing here. Let's see if, oh, it's floppy. Oh, it's so floppy. Oh, that's not a good sign. It doesn't look very stable. Also, that was very, that was a little bit too fast. We want to go really, really slow. All right, here we go. I do not like the floppiness of it, so I might need to replace one of these at least with a rotating servo. All right, let's see how this looks with the rotating servo now. Oh, that looks so much more stable. That looks so much more stable. That's great. Okay, I think the vertical aspect of this can go even slower. Let's just do 0.02. So now it looks like... Wait a minute. Did I do the wrong thing? Oh, it went 0.2. I went 0.02. There we go. Now... Okay, way too slow. Hold on. What about 0.06? That doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's not exactly the same motion. All right, you know what? I'm gonna say I'm happy with that. Let's copy and paste this to the other side. So now when I press shift, oh boy, I gotta reverse. Hold on, that's not how it's supposed to look. Okay, is this better? Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay, I don't have the tail on this thing yet, but let's see if it lifts off. Okay, it looks like it has a decent amount of power. Center of lift is totally wonky right now, but I still have to add the tail on this thing. All right, there we go. I got the tail on this thing. The tail is hopefully gonna act as pitch. I've programmed it just like that. So now let's see if this thing is capable of flying in plane mode. VTOL mode is gonna be a completely different story, but how is everything feeling right now? Let's see here. Oh boy. Okay, so if I can at least roll and pitch. But oh no. Hold on. It's not the best. It's not the best for maneuverability. But my big problem right now is I'm nose heavy, because if I don't press anything, this is my default state of flight, which is just complete nosedive. Don't like that. All right, so let's take a look at our forces here. So we have our center of thrust looks to be slightly below our center of mass, but our center of mass is way in front of our center of lift. So that seems to be the main culprit. So I think one of the simpler solutions is just to use some of the space back here to add some weight, which is not always what you want to do, because more weight just means you got to use more force to get yourself through the air, but you do have to be able to balance yourself as well. So I put that there. Where does that put my... That does not add a whole lot. I'm 319 kilograms total, so I feel like adding 50 kilograms to the back here should go a decent way, but not enough. All right, what about 100 kilograms to the back? All right, now we're getting a lot closer, but that still feels like a lot. Like I just added 25% weight to this thing in the back. Am I even gonna be able to fly now? Let's see what happens. Oh, wait, this feels way too much now. Hold on, what? That is my default state of flight now. It is way overcompensated, which is weird because when you look at the forces, my center of mass is right here. My center of lift is still slightly behind the center of mass. The plane acts as if the center of mass is way behind the center of lift. So I'm just gonna go ahead and delete. I'm actually gonna delete both of those and replace them with a single 30 kilogram weight, just because that was such an extreme result. Maybe this is all we need, is just 30 right here. And then I don't even know how this is going to affect VTOL mode. Okay, so now if I try to just fly straight without pressing any controls, still a pretty heavy nose down. Okay. All right, it's a balancing act. You know what? I don't think this tail is doing enough for me. Because, right, like I can nose forward like that, but then if I tilt back, now I'll just nose up like that. So I think I'm pretty well balanced as far as the weight distribution goes. But my tail just doesn't have enough, it doesn't have enough of a stabilization effect on the vertical tilting, on the pitch. So it requires like constant correction. All right, well, out of curiosity, without any testing for the VTOL mode, let's just transform into VTOL mode mid-flight and see how that affects us. Here we go, shift. Okay. That's a thing that can happen right there. That's, whoa, what? How? None of that felt right. It felt like one side was just different than the other side. I don't understand. Wait, all right, let's just try to take off in VTOL mode then. Okay, that looks good. What? That looks really good. Oh, now it's, oh, this is so hard. This is, this is an aerodynamic nightmare in VTOL mode. Oh, I don't like that. Come on. Oh, this is so bad. This is really, really, really bad. Yeah, see, I think the big thing is the tail. I don't think this tail is beefy enough. I'm gonna actually swap the tail out from the small wings here. I'm gonna trade them for larger wings. All right, my tail is much thicker now, so that should provide some extra stability. And look at all that stability. All right, let's try this again now. Oh, pitch up, pitch up, pitch up. Okay, so now, oh man, now I'm back to pitching down a lot. Well, you know why? Because I have more lift in the back. That makes sense. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna have to make some more modifications regarding that. But let's go back and try taking off in VTOL mode, see how that feels now. Am I any more stable? All right, here we go. Oh man, it rocks so much. Okay. It just wants to fly. See, this is how it like now the tail is actually providing directional stability when I'm going forward, much better than it was before, but it does not want to help me stay just in the air in VTOL mode. Okay, how are our masses looking? Yeah, lift is way, way, way back now. So one solution is to keep the same amount of counterweight, but I'm just gonna move it back a lot. Move it back there instead. Oh, now this is terrible for VTOL mode. Oh, okay, but what about plane mode? Now plane mode actually feels pretty good, but I'm still nose heavy in plane mode. So this is I'm in a really, really bad spot right now, because when I'm in the horizontal flight mode, I am nose down. But when I am in the VTOL flight mode, I am nose up completely. So my transition completely imbalances everything. Okay, so here is a solution I'm considering. What if I add a trim into the tail for when we're actually in horizontal flight mode? Because I reduced some of the weight in the tail to help with vertical takeoff mode. Now you can see when I take off, it actually looks really, really good until we start actually getting up in the air, and then everything falls apart. But it starts off looking really balanced. So now let's see if I can do just like a, just fake it till I make it take off here. I'm just gonna go up, and as soon as I'm off the ground, transition. Oh, look at that, that looks beautiful. That actually looked really, really good. But now you can see I wanna nose down. Unless I pitch up in the tail, then I can balance out a little bit. So let's add a default trim here. Ooh, look at this. This is like perfect. I kind of have a horizontal flight mode is dialed in, feels pretty nice. VTOL mode is still an absolute nightmare, however. I don't know how I'm supposed to balance that realistically. I may have to do some type of cheat where I toggle on some angle sensors to auto-stabilize this thing in lieu of being able to logic these propellers to kind of compensate. But here, let's come in and try to come in for a VTOL landing, having pretty much no VTOL controllability at all. Actually, this is almost looking like I know what I'm doing. Okay, not exactly. Almost. All right, you know what's gonna help everything? Painting it gray like the actual craft itself. Okay, so now let's see if I can actually add some controllability into VTOL mode. The first thing I'm gonna add is yaw. And I think the simplest way for that is just to use a helicopter engine. So now I should be able to purposely turn left and right. There we go. I don't wanna do it with roll though. See, now the roll, I'm thinking with the roll, I'm gonna have that auto-stabilized. Now the challenge with that is gonna be finding a spot to place the stabilizing servo without it interfering with anything else. And I think I already found a spot. But these angle sensors are going to have to go into logic gates because I only want the angle sensors to stabilize my tilt when I'm in VTOL mode. When I'm not in VTOL mode, I wanna be responsible for that. So now this should auto-stabilize us, but I haven't added the toggle in yet. Yeah, there we go. Oh boy, oh no, there's a feedback loop. Oh, we're in a feedback loop and my wing is now, no. It's way too much. Hold on, let's adjust the strength down a little bit. I don't remember how to deal with the feedback loops. Okay, I've spent a lot of time tweaking this thing, added some logic to it and everything, and I've determined this is just a VTOL nightmare. It is the most unstable thing I've ever tried to pilot in VTOL mode, I think. It starts off looking great, but as soon as it tilts in any direction, I tried to automate I tried to auto balance it, and that just ended up going into crazy feedback loops. So now I'm trying manual control, and now I see why the auto balance was having so much trouble, because this is like the most unintuitive, just the physics of the forces. It's just so randomly chaotic. It's just once it starts going, it is so hard to get it to stop and like level off again. Like I have all of my axes of controls programmed in here. So it's just WASD and then Q and E for yaw. But okay, I managed to get enough control there. But yeah, I don't know what else I can do to this thing to make it any better. So I'm just going to accept that this is a hard mode of a manual piloting thing. So I'm just gonna move all this logic to the bottom so it doesn't muddy up the view. Let's try to manually pilot the most difficult VTOL to fly ever. So my goal is to take off from the aircraft carrier in VTOL mode, transition into flight mode, have a nice little leisurely journey around the map, and then return to, actually not the aircraft carrier, but the helipad up there, and see if I can land VTOL mode again on the helipad. I don't even know what transitioning midair is gonna be like, but let's see how this goes. Here we go. Taking off in VTOL mode. Looking good. All right, let's start leaning forward to get some forward. See, what is that? All I did was lean forward and it flipped me upside down instantly. I can't understand why the forces get so extreme all of a sudden. Okay, let's try this again. All right, taking off in VTOL mode. Just leaning forward is all I'm doing. Just trying to lean forward. Just trying to lean forward, and we're upside down. But I took out all the auto stabilization, so the only controls that are getting put in are the ones that I'm doing, but it just feels like there's so much more happening than what I'm doing. Okay, all right, we're stabling off a little bit. No, see, what was that? What is this? Okay. All right, now we're kind of okay. All right, let's transition. Into the mountain we go. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe I didn't just crash there. That was crazy. All right, we're flying. I do not feel good at all about that takeoff. Landing, there's no way I'm gonna land this thing. All right, we're going to the helipad, right? I mean, this thing flies great as a plane. I'm really happy with the plane mode, and I'm happy with like the aesthetic of it and the transition. But just VTOL mode is so bad. All right, I'm elevated up towards the helipad here. There's no way I'm not just gonna tilt upside down and crash during this transition. Oh my goodness, it's so stable right now. Why am I gonna ruin it with this transition here? Okay, here we go. All right, see, actually, even the transition itself feels good. It's just when the propellers are spinning, there's so many other forces happening. Okay, this is actually looking way better than I expected it to. Okay, no, don't flip over. Don't flip over. Please don't flip over. Does that count? This is the most exhausting thing to fly. I wish you could see my button inputs on these landings, on these VTOL controls, because it's just chaos on my keyboard when I'm trying to fly this thing in VTOL mode. Let's take off again. Go forward. Just forward, please. Not tilting. What? See, what is that? All I'm doing is pressing W right now to tilt forward. Okay, once we get like some forward speed, then it stables out a lot. And the transition even feels pretty nice. It's just when we're not going very fast in VTOL mode, it's just this feedback loop that's really weird. All right, we're coming in to the aircraft carrier now. Back into VTOL mode. Oh, way too strong of a landing. I'm starting to understand a little bit more of the nuances. Once we take off in VTOL mode, the quicker we can go like this and transition, the better. There we go. See that? It was starting to get really bad, but if I just start the transition before it has a chance to get too bad, then we can recover before things start looking stupid. And it looks like I don't know what I'm doing and like this is a bad idea. But you transition soon enough, you can kind of recover and be like, wait, did he mean to do that? He probably meant to do that. Fancy little peel out there to the side. When we come in for the landing, what I'm learning is the less throttle you give it, so you kind of let it drop more, the more stable it ends up being. The more throttle you give it in VTOL mode, the less stable it is. All right, we're getting over the helipad here. Time for the transition. All right, not bad. All right, slow down. That wasn't the most vertical landing, but the more forward momentum I have, the more stable I am. See, you know the actual real-life creation has a ton of computer stuff just auto-stabilizing everything for you so you don't have to deal with this. Yeah. Yeah, this is an absolutely terrible creation. I can only pretend like this thing is good. See, watch. You saw how terrible that was? Now watch how great this is. Look, take off, transition. You see how amazing that looks? I can pretty much lie about how bad this thing is just by spending as least amount of time in vertical takeoff mode as I possibly can. Okay, I just want one good vertical landing though. All right, come on. Transition back in. Good. Okay. Okay. We're so close. That was the best I could ask for. I wasn't really going in any particular direction, and I just came straight down. I was definitely a little bit out of control and rotating, but no damage done, and it worked. So I'm gonna take that as a win, okay? So this was my attempt to recreate the PteroDynamics X-P4 Transwing. I'll leave a link to the original video down in the description so you can actually see in more detail what it's all about. It's a pretty cool aircraft, at least aesthetically. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, you'll probably enjoy some more stuff that you can find right here on the end screen. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.